What's up, everyone? Tiger Stacker here. We have gone through a really weird last 2 months. The elections that are upcoming, the attempted assassination of ex-president and now current presidential candidate Donald Trump, the switch in the resignation of candidacy of current President Joe Biden, the upcoming of Kamala Harris as the upcoming new nominee for presidential candidate in 2024. And they haven't even had their elections. And I'm not even sure they're going to have elections. I think they're just going to appoint her, which brings up questions of legitimacy. Can they assign a candidate without going through finances, appropriate of transfer finances, things that are not in my pay grade of understanding. So I don't want to go into that in a great deal because I'm not an expert in such matters. I'm a doctor. That's my expertise. I'm a stacker, and I'm becoming more and more of an expert, although I'm not an expert. And as I talk about finances and metals, fiat currency, please keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. But that did lead me to get into something that I have been collecting since 2021, which I want to share with you, my Trump collection. So let me show you what I've been looking at and playing with. This is in no set order. This is just me getting into my collection that I have been getting since the beginning of 2021. I'm not much into copper, but even back then I thought he was a much better candidate than what Hillary Clinton was. So I thought I'd just share that with you. Trump seems to love this country, and he does seem to love God. So I thought that would be appropriate to put out there. We all also need to keep in mind, if we don't keep in mind what we stand for, we can have terrible things happen again, like World War III, or another attack on America like happened in 9/11. No, I do not believe that Trump is trying to be king. He never acted that way. He acts like a businessman who wants to run this country like a business. And in my opinion, it should be run like a business. The love of our country. It's clear that he does have a love for our country. Don't believe it? He doesn't need to run for president. He's independently wealthy. He doesn't need us. And yet, he's taken onslaught after onslaught, insult after insult, 2 impeachment attempts, a kangaroo court lawsuit that convicted him, which I hope they will find that that was a ridiculous kangaroo court and take that away. No, I'm not the biggest Trump lover in the world, not the biggest Trump hater in the world, but right is right and wrong is wrong. I've been the object of a witch hunt early on in my career, and this feels exactly the same. I include in this, even though this is not a U.S. government coin, this is a Ukrainian coin. And I do worry that Trump will not do right by Ukraine. We got them into this war, NATO too, and we all need to get them out. I'm not a fan of war. War is murder. But I pray that Trump will not sell Ukraine down the river. He's the best candidate we got, and I pray that God will guide him to have the wisdom of Solomon. And no, I don't think that the Democrats have a chance on winning this election. This one I bought during his presidency, because just like our founders and the presidents that came after our founders, such as Abraham Lincoln, they put this country first. But just like the fiction hero Superman seemed to always find a way to make things right in which everyone wins, I do pray that God gives Donald Trump the wisdom to overcome all the evils that exist in this world, including the Federal Reserve. In keeping with the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, given to us by our forefathers, all of our forefathers. Because freedom is never free. And no, I do not believe Donald Trump will ever surrender. It's not in him. He's a businessman. He built himself up from having some millions through his family to be a billionaire on his own merits. You don't get that way by surrendering. And whether Mr. Trump was in this kangaroo court trial or rumors, accusations, impeachments, and sometimes he brought his own problems onto himself because he doesn't have much of a filter. He never quit. And he does believe in that this country, united we stand, and divided we fall. God bless America, and God bless a man who has fought for America, whether it's the soldiers, the sailors, the Coast Guard, the police, the firefighters, the EMTs, the doctors, the nurses, and this man, who, because of his beliefs in this country, was ridiculed, taken to court for a kangaroo court. He still stayed true to his beliefs. He also brought us the prettiest First Lady ever. Sorry, Jackie, you're now in second place. Melania is the prettiest First Lady we've ever had. And who can blame him for marrying her? She's gorgeous. But she also gave him a good son, which I think is going to be following in his footsteps. I've had time to think since the assassination attempt, and although I believe Trump is fallible, we all are, we're all human. And I've always believed that he's the best candidate to deal with the foreign affairs that are taking advantage of our country. But you have to put faith in a man who never steps down, never stops, doesn't let the opposing force cower him like many of us would be guilty of. A man who not only loves our country, but fights for it. So you say, well, what about the opposing side? Well, I think a lot of us already have that feeling. The dragon that has brought us increased inflation. Inflation isn't coming, it's here. And I do believe the Democrats forced Joe Biden to step down for the wrong reasons, because they want somehow to beat Donald Trump no matter what the cost or what the outcome to our country will be. So we have to mention Joe Biden, both as part of the system that brought us the problems we now have, and pray that God will help him through his oncoming dementia. The next ones are, I call these ones fake news bars. By the way, they are up for purchase to anyone who wants any. They usually range between 2 and 3 ounces. And I call this my MAGA round. This is my prototype. I'll make others upon request. Vote what you think is the right thing for this country, your family, and to make this country not falter. See you on the next one. Tiger Stacker out.